Hi, this is Steve Brown with Guy Mosenson, one of the authors of the TLM Design and Verification Methodology book from Cadence. And we're going to have a little bit of a conversation to talk about the book and Guy's experience with methodology in the book. So, Guy, you've been around methodology for quite a long time, and this is the first book that I'm aware of that you wrote about methodology. But would you talk a little bit about what methodology means to you?
Absolutely. So I'm very excited to be involved in this methodology book in this new area that we're dealing with. My previous experience, I'd say that the biggest work that I did in the past on methodology was related to ERM methodology, which we developed in Veracity in 2002, released in 2002. And as part of that, we actually, I would say, explored what methodology as a product would mean, and we came up with a very well-packaged methodology that included technology, documentation, and golden examples, and that was a huge success over the past 8 years. And based on that experience, we also created what turned later into OVM, was contributed into OVM, and now we're expanding in this methodology. In this book, we're expanding the OVM methodology to actually address the verification of TLM-driven designs, and we're adding an aspect of TLM-driven design itself, how to do the design, not only the verification.
Okay. So why is it important, Guy, in your experience, that all of those aspects are created for methodology?
The way methodology is used is by engineers. And they need several aspects put together in order to make it really useful to them. So they need a description, a written description, so that they can understand it, but then they also need examples that they can see it demonstrated and often even mimic what's in the examples. And finally, technology brings in a lot of automation. So all three aspects, technology, documentation, and golden examples, are extremely important.
So obviously this book is a part of uh, the documentation then for the methodology. What do you expect people will find interesting in the book?
I think this is the first time that methodology is described at length for a TLM-driven approach that promises a real design methodology at the TLM-driven level, and verification starting from TLM-driven going all the way down to RTL. So a prescribed methodology with all the information related to it, and the ability to reuse the design for multiple retargets and reuse the verification at all levels of abstraction, starting from the high-level abstract through TLM and RTL. All of that reuse is extremely valuable. And I think this is the first book, I think this is the first methodology that actually addresses all of those things together in a very comprehensive way. And I think this book is the first place where all of that is described together.
So Guy, obviously you were very close to the material in a fairly large book, but what part of the book is your favorite part?
I actually like the book a lot in general because I think it goes very nicely from the introduction of the need and the concepts and the vision through giving the basis, the fundamentals of the languages and the technology that we're using, all the way up to the actual methodology. But the two chapters that I was most involved in and I find special interest in are chapter 3, that introduces the whole TLM-driven design and verification methodology, showing all the abstraction levels that we go through, how we refine from level to level, what are the goals for each of those levels, and sort of it really outlines very nicely the whole methodology. That's chapter 3. And then chapter 7 shows actually how verification at the multiple levels is done in detail.
So now that you've finished this book, which was clearly a large effort, what do you see happening next? What are you going to do?
we're going to continue and develop on top of this basic methodology, which I think is bringing a lot of value. We're going to expand it more to reuse into bigger systems, and go more in depth into how to create white box coverage in a more serious way, and a lot of expansion still to be done.
That's very good. Guy, thank you very much for the book and for this time today.
Thank you.